welcome to Ace Designs 107. I'm Yes in the car pack, you're the kings and queens. And today what I for you guys is a Photoshop tutorial showing you how you can make your own YouTube banner. The preview will be on screen now. I'll have a name for this banner when I edit this video and upload it to YouTube. And I'm excited to be making videos again and finally on my channel. I'll be doing daily uploads for around 8 weeks. While I'm on holidays. The difficulty for this tutorial will be 4 out of 5 stars, and the duration will be about 50 minutes, so you will need to reserve some time. And yeah, hopefully you do enjoy it. Give me feedback in the comments below, in the comment section below, and all download links are in the description below. So if you need the template for this banner, there'll be one there. If you need the assets used, they'll be down there. And also the credit for this tutorial will be down in the description below. Again, I got inspired, but I remade the effect. This wasn't my own original, design, I guess, but I remade it. Welcome to the desktop. This is where the magic happens. We're gonna get straight into this tutorial by making sure that I'm recording. That is the main thing. And I'm also probably gonna just close my door a little bit. Alright, great. Alright, so what I've gone and done before I started is gone and grabbed up a HDRI lighting room. And you can find these all over YouTube. Just type in HDR Lightroom free, and you can see that I tried all these little different ones. So yeah, so I just found the best one and I downloaded it. There'll be a link in the description below where you can go download it. And yeah, but one thing that I do want to talk to you about is my channel and how much support I've been getting. It just blows my feet away, feet beneath me. And yeah, just on this video for an example, 52 up, 2 dislikes. That's an amazing ratio, and thanks for all the support. I never knew that I had this many people, and I really love seeing you guys commenting and just supporting me all the way through. So I really do appreciate it. And yeah, so what I've gone and done is I've edited this Lightroom in the behind the scenes. However, one thing to note is this is the T-Nuts one that I'm be using. When you use it, before you open it up in Cinema 4D, grab this Cinema 4D file, then go down to where your Cinema 4D is located. In my case, it's on this hard drive, and it is under Design Programs, and then you go to your library, browser, and then you paste it in here. But for most of you, it'll be under your C drive, Program Files, Cinema 4D, and then Libraries browser, and then paste it in there. And then open up your Cinema 4D, bring up the template, and this is what it will look like. And yeah, so it's not too hard to edit around. You just move a bunch of text, you can change these in and out. But yeah, so then I'm going to go to my settings here. I might just try ambient inclusion and also global illuminations. Might take a little bit longer, but we'll just trial and error. Okay, and I'm also going to save this somewhere where I know it, so it's going to be in here, tutorial, and it's going to be render. Okay, and it's just going to save down there. Alright, sweet. And then we just can close that and go to your final render and just render this one out. It's going to give us that clean, crisp one. And then go into Photoshop, and I have to decide if I want to make this into a banner. I'll do a YouTube banner just because he gives us this option. So yeah, and make sure you go check out the designer. There will be a link in the description below. This tutorial wouldn't be possible without him. So yeah, thank you so much for inspiring me for this tutorial. Alright, so I'm going to go to File, Open, and open up my YouTube banner template. If you want my own one for free, just go down to the description below. There'll be a link where you can find a download link, you could say. And yeah, I need to find my graphics pack doc. Graphics pack, Twitter, YouTube layout. There. Sorry, I haven't done a tutorial in a long time, so I'm still finding out where all my files were located before. Right, I'm also going to open up this preview. Alright, so I'm just going to crop this one quickly. Perfect. And I'll just drag this one onto my document. Alright, sweet. Press Control T, hold Alt Shift, Control Alt Shift. You don't have to hold Control. Sorry, I haven't been in Photoshop in a long time. Alt and Shift, bam. Okay, so that's our preview, so we can use it as a guideline when we're designing. So I haven't practiced this in the behind scenes, so I'm sorry, but yeah. Alright, so first of all, we're going to bring in our render. So hopefully it is done now. Yes, it is. I'm just gonna pick up this one. Alright, great. And this is a nice little HDR render. I'm pretty happy on how this turned out, especially for the first time for me using HDR renders. Okay, so we're gonna have something like this, and just rename I'll rename my preview by double clicking on the layer name. And I'm also going to lock this one, and for my HDR render I'm just going to drag it below the top layer and the layer name top, and then just drag it onto the document. I might just bring this one, something like that. Great. So yeah, right, I might just go to blending options and do a color overlay on this to white so you can see where the cutoff region is. Alright, great. So the next thing is, I guess, to bring in the lollies, because of those are like the guns or whatever you want to call them, lifesavers. So I've already gone and scouted out on Google PNGs, and these are the exact same ones. They don't look like it, but they actually are, and he's just done a hue saturation on them. So first of all, he's kept the red one originally the same, so I'm going to do the same. And I'm just going to drag this one over this one. But before I do that, there's a drop shadow that needs to be fixed up. So to get rid of this, what I would do is grab up my quick selection tool, select the lolly itself, and then do my eraser tool, and just with the negative part here, plus negative, and the size is going to be around 80. Then press Control Shift I and just press delete, and that's going to delete some of that stuff there. Okay, press Control D, and then we are going to bring this one onto there. Alright, great. So now we don't have that drop shadow. I'm also going to lock my render layer, just because I don't want that to be moving while I'm moving everything else. And I'll just drag it up to like that. Okay, now I might right click and do, I think it's perspective. Yep. Wait, yeah, it's perspective, and drag out the corners like this one. So it's going to give us, because we want to give it to a perspective like it's kind of popping out like in 3D. Okay, great, and I'll press Control T, hold Shift, and just squish it a little bit like that. Brilliant. Okay, now I'm going to go to the blending options by right clicking on the layer. That's going to pop it up, and with the drop shadow I'm just going to do like a size of probably 29, and the opacity is going to be down to like 66. Root 66. Okay, and the distance is around 8. Okay, sweet. So then I'm going to bring in my other lolly. I probably already bring it in, you know. Okay, sweet. And I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to just select what I can with the quick selection tool. I think this is called quick selection, yep. And then use my -1 and do it like this. I really like doing this way. I don't prefer doing magic wand tool. Okay, so press Control I, Control Shift I, press delete, and that'll delete the shadow. And just press V and move this one onto here. Press Control T and to resize, to rotate it. Okay, something like that. And we're gonna have it like this, but the one thing is, like, we didn't render out the M and the D individually. So what we'll have to do is, with this red one, press Control D, just control click the thumbnail of the layer, and we're going to go to here and we're going to press delete like that. Okay, sweet. So then when we also go back to the red and mess around with the drop shadow like that, Okay, so we're gonna control click again on the thumbnail, make a new layer. And because we can, in Photoshop, what it basically works is, if you didn't know already, with the drop shadows and everything, once you apply drop shadow, okay, I'll do an example. Fuck that truck, man. Fuck off! Sorry. Oh, okay, so if you didn't already know, it's like, can you imagine a box, right? A cardboard box, and you cut a hole through the box and you shine a light. That light is going to affect the shadows of the objects in that box differently. Now, you can't manipulate one shadow for a particular object differently to the others, because it would look odd. So we have to work with this. So if we have a drop shadow coming out like this, we have to make our own shadow to have another shadow coming out like here. So to do that, we control click the thumbnail of this layer and make a new layer above. And we're going to grab up our brush. Now for the size of the brush, I'll probably do 100. You want something, bigger size means a bigger spread, especially with a lower hardness. So if you have a hardness of 0%, and then just click, you want to make this layer below it, by the way, sorry, and just click like here, and you also want this green one to be here. So now once you click on that layer, sorry, I'm getting a bit confused. Well, there we have a okay, let me try this again. So you move the green gummy bear, I guess, under the red one. And I'm also gonna just go around here with a size 1 pixel and just take away some of this blackness. And this one. Okay. Okay, so make a new layer. This layer is gonna be between our green and red one. Okay, grab up the brush tool, and with a black or foreground color is a black. Control click this one, and then press Control Shift I, and when you paint, that should just paint within there. Now the size is a bit too large, so we'll just do like something like this. So we just do a spreading a little bit. You can see that the difference, and I'm bringing up my size of the brush a little bit larger. Okay, great. And now it's going to give us something like this. Okay, so with the green one, I'm going to change the color of it. So I'm going to press Ctrl U with that layer selected, and just change it to pink like here, and the lightness something like that. See the shadows? I'm not liking how it's looking up here, but I guess that's all we can do really for the color in terms of the color of that. Okay, so sweet. So now we're having something that looks like it's coming out of here. But again, if we want to apply a drop shadow on this one, we'll try and see if it works. Okay, so once we apply a drop shadow on this pink one, we can see that it's affecting the text. That is great. Now, I don't want any distance on this one, but you can see that it's applying to both. So as I edit it, they both changing. So what I mean by that is, once you change around the light bulb, all the shadows change, if that makes sense. So we're getting something like this. Okay, great. Now this one, I don't like the color of it. It's just, it doesn't really pop out for me. So I guess I might just have to go to my hue saturation again. Make it more pinkish. Okay there. And I might just try down here in my adjustments, the vibrance of this one. Vibrant means basically more vibrant. Like, it just, the word means more vibrant, I guess. So like, you make it more the saturation, less saturation, high saturation, and then the vibrance goes up. So probably something in between like that. So that's just gonna kind of pop out. Now with this red lolly, what we're gonna do is we're gonna control click the thumbnail. If I'm not recording, Okay, so with this red lolly, I'm going to make a new layer, and when I'm going to paint in here, it's just going to paint there. Now I'm going to change my foreground color to red, and I'm also going to change the size of my brush to around 100 or 170, and just click a couple times, and this is just going to give us some highlights on it. Now press Ctrl D and go to the opacity, and then see it's like highlighting up, radiating through. And you can do the same thing for the purple one. So if you go to the purple one here, and just make it and just paint in here. A lot of designers do this in the community, and make sure when you actually do the highlights you do it on a new layer so you can perfect it. And look, that looks okay, and then go down to the opacity and just change this one. So look at the difference from there to there. It's a nice little add. Okay, so we need to start getting in the background of these twirls and also strawberries and everything else, but I'm also going to do this cherry because that's one of the harder aspects. You could say that it's wrapping around there. It's not really hard. Placed in the cherry, I guess it's an element that like I can't really show because it takes so much time to put in, but you can see what I kind of did. So I've got in the cherry, and then I've done the same thing how I did the highlights in the lollies. So I've control clicked the thumbnail of the layer of the cherry and then added those in with the different colors on the leaf, and then I also hue saturated the leaf so I could get a more contrast, and you can't really even see the hue saturation occur on the actual berries because I've got that red overlay. And then again I've gone ahead and edited that one. Now it's important to notice that you don't wrap it too much like I have here. But I guess it's okay. It's just another feature that is nice. Okay, so the next thing that I'm gonna do is do the strawberries. Now, I don't have any. Can you believe it? I'm not prepared for this, boys. Okay, so just gonna do strawberry. PNG. And they should give us a couple. We just need something like this. Okay, I've got that in my head. Okay, great. And right click to save the PNG wherever. Save that there. Okay, I'm gonna bring that strawberry in and start editing it. Now we don't need most of this stuff, so I'm just gonna close some of these. I keep those open actually. Okay, great. So now our strawberries in, we can actually start doing shit. And press Ctrl T, hold Shift. I'll resize that down. Okay, again. So we're gonna press Ctrl T, rotate it, and make sure that this is behind our render layer. I'm about to swear. Alright. So here's one strawberry. Oh, you're gonna be a pain in the ass because if I didn't render the obey. I really should have just rendered all the little elements by themselves, but I guess it's alright. Not the end of the world. Alright, so we're gonna control click this one, and what I'm gonna do for this is go to my quick selection tool. Go to this take away little thing here. I'm just going to take away this M and this D from the selection of the obey. Okay. And with this obey, I'm going to go to... Just let me think how I want to do this. Cut this out of this render. And I paste it above here. Alright, and my strawberry is gonna go above this one, but the main render goes below that one. And then I can edit this one, so I'm just gonna go to the size of my brush for the eraser and just erase some of the obey parts, because it didn't cut it exactly, but that's gonna do something like that. Alright, hopefully you guys are still with me. We're going to do our next step, which is add in a little color overlay and spice in the strawberry up. I'm going to try and minimize the use of magic bullet looks in this tutorial, because I know that some of you might not have the money to spend on that, and I don't advocate for pirating, so just gonna add in some light effects. And then with the render itself, I'm going to go to my blending options and apply a drop shadow, and this drop shadow will apply to the strawberry. Something like that. Okay, so then I'm also going to bring in another strawberry. Hold shift and downscale that one up. Okay, great. Something like that. And drag that below my render, just with this other strawberry. And also like that. Okay. And again, I'm going to do this, get a brush and just add in some of that stuff. And I'll also add in a green highlight onto this one, just onto the leaves. And I'll do the same for the other one. See now how like nice that spices up the green leaves, I guess. I guess that looks a bit too fake. Okay, great. So then what I'm gonna do is, first of all, I need to erase some of this stuff. It's a bit too strong. You want the highlights to be like there, but like you don't want to rely on the color effect of it. Okay, sweet. I'm also might find the strawberry. I should be really renaming these layers, but it's okay. Alright, just apply a drop shadow, really small one. So we can kind of get that definition between there. Just a small spread. Sweet. Okay, so the next thing is to add in these lifesaver packs gummies. So we're going to do that by going to File, Open, and open these ones up. I've already got it, but I'm going to press Ctrl U, and this hue saturation is going to be something relative to this one. It's purple. Okay, great. Something like that. Press Ctrl T, rotate this one, and downscale this down with the shift. Okay, great. Okay, press Ctrl T. Bam. Okay. Now this one needs to be a bit smaller. There we go. And then press Ctrl J on this lifesaver and just rotate it above like here. Okay, great. Now I'm gonna Control click these, press Ctrl E to merge these together, and I'll just adjust the hue saturation. Like that. Okay, sweet. So we need to make this background, so I'm gonna be using the pen tool for this one. So we're just going to be going over some basic pen tool stuff. Now this is going to be behind the render again. I'm just going to group all this stuff there by shift clicking that, and then just do behind render, and then group all this in the above render. Okay. I'm also gonna go to File, Save As, and save this somewhere because my heart would break. just was lost. Okay, Photoshop tutorial. Okay, so with my pen tool, what I'm going to do is press P on my keyboard to grab it up, minus this out a little bit, and I'm just going to do a swoop down like so. Hold Alt and take away that one off. Okay, bam. So then I can right click and do stroke path, but before I can, I need to make a new layer so I can stroke it. Again, it's going to be behind my render. And with my brush tool, I'm going to select like a really nice hot red, something like that. And my brush size is, this is just going to be real guess, probably around 25, and the hardness is going to be not hard at all, 0%. And then go back to my pen tool, right click and do stroke path. I'm going to do stroke it with brush and simulate pressure, and that's going to do that. But again, it didn't do that correctly. Also, I noticed that this is just one brush stroke, so I'm going to stroke this path like that, but before I stroke it, I'm going to stroke it with a smaller brush, 5. And again, this is like really trial and error, because like you can't really know what it is. Okay, and I'll just do this one. Down across like here. And you can see that this one's kind of fading off. Again, we tried to do it with the simulate, but it didn't work out. So I'm just going to change my size up to like 700 for my brush, for my razor. And just click once or twice to like stroke that out, you could say. And then we're going to press the pen tool again and just make another curve like this. Right click and do stroke path, but before we do that, I'm going to change my brush size to around 9 this time. Just have that little abstracticity, you could say. And delete that one. And raise it there. And I'm also going to raise it on the tip. Okay. So then I'm going to make a new layer. You don't have to, but I like making random layers. And this one. Oop, it's just trial and error. We want like the second little fin to come out. Alright, great. Now with my brush, again, I'm going to change my size to around 12 this time. Go to my pen tool, right click and do stroke a path. That didn't really work out. For some reason it gave us subpath, which is bad. That is bad. Okay. Right click and do stroke path, press OK. Alright, brilliant. But it's not stroking it with that red hot pink that we requested for. Okay, and again with our razor tool, just erase this one out on the final edges. And again, I'm going to go down to this top and erase that one. Right, so we're going to merge all these ones together. And I'm going to grab up my pen tool and just do a general selection that's around at these lines. And this is going to be our fill area. I'm holding Alt to take away that arm because we don't want it. Okay, bam. Right click, do make selection, press OK, and fill this one in with whatever color, but I'm going to be using pinkish. And fill this one in. Okay, sweet. Now I'm just going to change the opacity, obviously, on this one. Actually, you know what? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to fill this in with gradient, boys. Okay, so so under your gradient bucket tool, there should be a gradient tool, you could say. And just do it like this. Press OK. It's going to be linear, and just drag it out And I'm going to make this fade out on this edge right here, and then go to my opacity and change this one out a little bit. Press Ctrl U to mess around with the hue saturation if you didn't get the color correctly, but you still have the gradient. You can still utilize it, just edit a little bit, something like this. Okay, great. And we're going to do the same on the top, but you can actually just Ctrl J this, because I think he's done that. You can see that it's just being Ctrl J. So yeah, you can press Ctrl G to merge those together as a group, because we still want to be able to edit the layers, but if you press Ctrl J on the group, you can edit those and move it around as you wish. And horizontal switch, and also a vertical switch, rotation, and something like that. Okay, there's still need to be justice done for one of these paths. So again, we can edit this path by just going all around here, bringing up my hardness for this one. Okay, and we can use our pen tool. And stroke this one. Just go to my brush. This one's probably going to be 6, so let's go. Let's go, boys. Right click and do stroke this one. Simulate pressure. Bam. Okay. So we have something like this, but it isn't the color that I want. So it's going to be something more darker. Such as that. Such as that. Come on, stop dicking around, holy shit. Just give me my color. Why can't, okay. Now move that path down. Okay, we have our path in our place, finally. Okay. Now, I'm just going to erase this again to get that soft little edge, you could say, coming out. And, okay, brilliant. So, for the background, we can't just leave it totally grey. So, to do this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Filter Render Clouds with this one on. And my foreground is going to be black. Go Filter Render Clouds, and it's going to render some nice little clouds like this. And I'm just going to control click my gradient selections. I'm going to remember that it's 69. That's an easy number for me to remember. Okay. So I guess the only way to like chop and slice this is just to quickly grab up our pen tool, make up some selections. Bam, right click, make selection, press OK, and delete that from there. And we'll do the exact same. In regards to that, make a selection, press OK, delete. Okay, so now we can just mess around, change the opacity slightly with these clouds. Okay, something like that. And I'm going to press Ctrl U and bring up like a purple. Well, we have gradient like that, and the opacity is going to be changed. Okay. So now we just have like a little slight texture in the background, so we can get something going on. Okay, so I have these raspberries that I can use, so I'm going to go to File, Open, and grab up these. These are PNGs, they work fine. Apparently not, they're PNGs. Great whoop-de-doo, boys. I'm just gonna stop the stop the voice so I can save it just as a backup. Alright, we are back with the power of editing Okay, sweet. So I love doing that when my tutorials get long, because sometimes you never know, shit can fail on you and you don't want to be that person. Alright, so with this gradient, I need to edit this little black, so it's kind of like editing, fading in and out. Oops. Take away those lines, which is bad. Okay, so this is that, and okay, it's alright, we can just have that little black space, it's right. Right, so with this raspberry, what we need to do is we need to just get it on itself, so we're gonna select that. Okay, press Ctrl-Shift-I, press delete, and make sure that this is just a transparent background for this. Bam, we just have a raspberry, brilliant, and just slice this one down. Using my arrow keys, which is like the most ineffective way. Moving stuff. Just a little bit. Press Ctrl J, right click, press Ctrl T. Inside. I don't know how he got this one, sorry, it's like a fruit that I wasn't able to find. If I did find it, like, why not? Why wouldn't I just chop it anyway? Fortunately, I couldn't find it. But you know what we can do with these raspberries? Let's just get these ones into position. Right, you can merge these two buggers together, and then press Ctrl U and just get like a different color. Okay, where is that purple? Oh, there we go. Brilliant. Okay, so I'm going to get some splatters in the background of brushes. I just find my abstract brush sets online. Just go to Photoshop brush pack, and you can load them in by going to your brush tool, going to this little cogwheel and do load brushes, and find the saved file, I guess. Alright, so we are going to grab this gummy first and just bring it in right here. Okay, great. Just press Ctrl J on this gummy. Why is it transparent? I don't understand. Behind render. I think this one's in front of this render. Alright. No, that's not the one that I want. Control J, merge these two together. Alright, I guess there's only one way, just to use the PNG. Okay. Bam. And we're just going to scatter these around in different locations of the banner. Press Ctrl J. Move this one around. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and open up Wolf's layer style pack, and what I'm gonna use with this layer style pack is a brush. So once I paint a brush, I can copy the layer style onto the layer of the brush, and you know, get some really nice little effects. So with this one, just over here, layer styles, Wolf's. Okay, so again, you can see that there's some nice little ones here. Okay, make a new layer, and this one's going to be everything behind our render. So again, I can drag all this stuff into this one. Now I'll just group this stuff. Okay, great. And group this stuff. Alright, so once I've organized everything, I can show you how to do the brushes. So make a new layer behind the render and grab up the brush tool. I have some abstract brushes here and I'm just going to be using size like this. Okay, so if I do one splatter or two splatters, something like that, and just do another one just like that, then go to my wolf pack here and right click, do copy on this pink one, right click, paste layer style, there we go, and that's going to paste that onto there. Okay, so we're going to do the same for the other brushes, and I'm just going to change the size of this one, so the color I mean, so this one's going to be green. Go to my wolves one, it doesn't really matter because I guess I'm going to be copying and pasting this layer style back on. Something like that. I'll also change the opacity, just take away some spiders on here. Right, great. And I might do the same with some more, just because of like all these little different things, they really add up to your design, like they really do. So just going to something like that, and then with this one, I guess I can do white. Like I could go ahead and edit all the little settings, but alright, something like that, and the opacity can go down on those. Right. Alright, so the next thing to do is add in some blurs on these raspberries, and fuck me, because I lost them. Lol. So it's going to be similar here. Ah, there they are. So we're just going to go ahead and go to the filter blur, blushing blur, and just blur these with a radius of probably 3.5, so we get something like that going on. Okay, so that's that, and I think we're nearly done. All we have to do now is to apply a motion blur, and I'm also going to make a new layer above all of this stuff, just on top of here, and grab up my shape tool, rectangle tool, do a stroke of this color, and yeah, just click once to make a random box like that. Okay, sweet. It's gonna have no fill. This is just gonna be our stroke around the picture, or our banner. Alright, I'm going to press Ctrl U to edit these settings. Okay, probably something like that. And press Ctrl R. Bring up a ruler and zoom in right into here. Oops. Just so that this box can snap to it when we're... Bam. Bam. And I'll change the opacity on this one. And I'll also do a filter blur, motion blur, rasterized layer, motion blur. And do the same by going to filter, blur, motion blur. Okay, great. And then do the opacity slightly down. So we just have that small little detail again. Okay, one more thing. Doing the motion blur on this. So I'm going to group all this stuff together. Pressing Control J. And there's going to be our banner. So I like having a backup whenever I do magic bullet looks. Yeah, you heard it. I'm doing magic bullet looks now. Alright, so now with my banner, I'm going to go to filter, magic bullet looks, and go to the basic, just here, widen diffusion, and then just go to this one, do some soft edges. Okay, and probably like that, and then with the camera can add in a chromatic abrasion like this. Something very small, so it's like this. Give it a second to load. So we can have something like that. Probably that's pretty good. So there we go. We have our final banner. It doesn't take too long. Again, like, you can spend a lot of time into magic bullet. I don't know that actual particular plugin very well, unfortunately, and I can go to my blending options, go to here, change the color overlay, right, and then go to view, clear guides, and change up that preview, and then bam, we have made the banner. It took us a while, but I think it was definitely worth it. Hopefully you learned some new things. It was great teaching you guys, and hopefully I get to see you on my own channel, and peace.